Next up for testing on road.cc is this. It's the Pinnacle Dolomite SS, and the SS, as you can probably tell, stands for single speed. It's the first time that Pinnacle have done this bike as a single speed. The frame geometry is very similar to the geared bikes, but what they've done here is they've added an eccentric bottom bracket down here so that you can tension the chain and keep the same dropouts at the back. So they're vertical dropouts, which means that if you get a puncture and you're running mud guards in the winter, you can just drop the wheel straight out. That's a good thing. The Dolomites have been moving over to disc brakes in the last few years, and this bike's no exception. It's got mechanical disc brakes. They're TRP Spires. Now, mechanical brakes aren't as good as hydraulics generally, but the Spires are the best of them. They have independent pads which both move, rather than having one pad which presses against a static pad. That makes them easier to set up, and it also means they're easier to adjust as well when the pads start to wear. We've got a standard single speed setup. The gearing is about 68 inches, which is fairly low. It's good for kind of more varied terrain. Obviously, because it's a disc bike, it's not a flip-flop hub, so you can't flip the wheel over and have it as a fixed gear, single speed only. You've got a square taper bottom bracket within the eccentric bottom bracket down there, standard steel sprocket on the back, sturdy looking chain. You've also got a chain catch here to make sure it doesn't come off. It's not a problem normally with single speeds, but there's no harm in having it there. Okay, obviously we don't need shifters on this bike, so the brakes are just a standard Tektro. There's not many cables either. The one that runs to the rear brake, as you can see, is internally routed through the down tube, and the one that runs to the front brake is just going down the back of the fork. The head tube's a standard 1.1 It's not tapered, and you've got an alloy fork there. It's got a low rider mount there. You can fit a rack on there, but it's also the mudguard mount. There's no mudguard mount at the bottom by the dropout. The wheels are fairly standard looking semi-deep section alloy rims. We've got some Kenda 26mm tyres on there. They look pretty sturdy. Finishing kit isn't anything special. Standard alloy bars and stem and seat post and a decent enough looking saddle. It's not an expensive bike. It's £525. This bike, which is an extra large for me, weighs in at just over 10 kilos. It's 10.16 kilos. So not too heavy, not too light, good for a bit of resistance training over the winter. We'll be taking it around up and down the hills of Bath and seeing how we get on with it.